In today's video, we're going to be looking at Kevin Durant and how he plays at the power forward position. If you're looking to become a better power forward, this is definitely a video for you. Let's get down and let's check out Kevin Durant. Okay, so in this first clip, he's going and, of course, attacking that three-point line, breaking that player's ankles, taking a quick sidestep or step back slightly away from that player to be able to hit that three-point shot. So of course he gets away with a slight push, but the reason why he gets away with it is because he did not push with his forearm. He pushed with his upper arm. We can see that right here. And of course this player did trip over his feet as well. Kevin Durant then did a behind the back crossover, and watch how he holds this ball while his feet are at work. This is extremely important because, of course, here he doesn't gather the ball until that point. So that means that he can take that step forward into his shot, and because he's a right-handed player, he wants to step in with that right foot so that he can get that right arm in line. Something I do find interesting is that he does bring that ball up from the left side of his body, but we are not breaking down his shot today. In this next clip, he's attacking the basket in a fast break, and he still gets that layup on his defender. How he does this is because he keeps that ball up high, keeping those elbows out front, protecting that ball. If you're driving towards that rim, yes, of course, that's a circus style shot, but if you are attacking the rim, especially with multiple or even one big player on you, keep that ball up high. It keeps it away from him grabbing it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you bring that ball down towards your waist and this defender tries to swipe away at it, most referees will say that you are out of control and they will not call the foul. But if you keep it up high so it's easy for the refs to see, they will call it a foul. This is an even better angle where we can see that he keeps that ball above his head. That is extremely important. Here we see him cross over his defender and then attack that rim. What does he do that is so spectacular here? Well, when he makes this crossover, he gets down low. First off, that is very important. He starts high and then he crosses low. He gets his body at roughly a 45 from the ground and gets his shoulders lower than the defender's shoulders. This allows him to get past that defender, and then he starts to angle his body into his defender so that he can get his right shoulder in front of the left shoulder of that defender. He then attacks that player with only one dribble, takes two steps, and does a floater. Yes, you need to know how to use the backboard. This is very important. We've seen that with Tim Duncan. He was a boss when it came to using the backboard. However, after you make that crossover, when you decide to attack, limit your dribbles to only one. If he took a secondary dribble here, this would have got him in line to get blocked by that help side defender. So by only using one dribble, he was able to get that floater off. So one thing that does set Kevin Durant away from all other power forwards is his ability to handle the ball and drive to the basket and take that mid-range shot. And that's what he does here. Again, trying to get his shoulders lower than that defender, and then he takes that extra dribble. So right here he takes two dribbles, one here, and then he freezes just for a second and takes a second dribble. That gives him the ability to get that right foot back around so that he can get his right side in line for that shot. We can see this right here where he takes one long step, freezes just for a second, takes a second step, and then he's able to get that right foot around. Now keep in mind that right foot is behind the left. What makes this important? Well, guess what? He kicks that right leg out so that he can get that right shoulder and right elbow in line with, of course, the rim. I also want to really show you his release on this. So many players who will be doing these baseline fadeaways will do a hard release, whether they're a soft release shooter or not. They will do a hard release, which will usually have that ball fly over the rim and go way too far. If that's happening to you, obviously you need to practice these shots more, but what you need to do is have a softer release. Notice how soft that release is. He doesn't release with a hard wrist. It's a nice soft curve on that hand, and that's why that shot had so much arc and of course went in. We can actually really see it in the top left right here where that's such a soft release, and that's why he was able to get that shot made. Let's also not forget about his passing ability. If you're a power forward, you do need to know how to pass the ball. So of course, if you drive to the basket and you can notice that you've collapsed multiple players, in this case all 5 players collapsed on Kevin Durant, you can then figure out who to pass to, but this is all happening before he goes up for the shot. He gets past his defender, and at that time, right there, watch his head move. We'll zoom in just a bit so we can see it. He gets past his defender, and then on that first step, he's scanning the court. Second step, he goes in for that layup, but that gets that defender up, and he's able to make that pass because he scanned the court on that first step. And because he was able to scan that court on the first step, he was able to find that pass, which then basically ended up with a 3-point shot. This is actually a perfect angle of that same thing right there. That's the first step. Notice how even his eyes are looking out towards that side. He knew what he was going to do before he even did it. That is another important aspect of his game, knowing where his players are before he even does it. Kick it out, 3. Normally, this would be a high post move that you would see with a player as a power forward, but he does it from the perimeter. You can do this as well. You receive that pass, you get that ball, you do a quick jab towards the right side, and watch what he does when he does this jab. He gets that ball, he almost straightens up. He has his shoulders above his defender's shoulders. He does that jab, and he gets them even lower. He doesn't just do a jab, he lowers his entire body for that jab. He gets his foot out super wide, and when he does this jab, he keeps both hands on it, and he moves that ball from the left side to the right side of his body. Obviously, he does drag the back foot, which would be technically a travel. However, when he then attacks the basket, he does something a little extra. He takes that first step and then hesitates for a second, which stretches out that defender. He then attacks the basket, getting his shoulders below his defender's shoulders, which then gives him the ability to gain that angle to the rim. And of course, when it comes to the basket, knowing how to use the entire backboard. Here he hits the board there, but you should be able to know how to hit the board from any angle to be able to make that shot. It shouldn't matter where you hit, you should be able to hit that shot. If you're looking to body a player from the perimeter, this is actually a very good clip as to how to do so. I was watching a player who I trained the other day in a tryout, and this is one of the things that he is very good at. He's able to body a lot of players who are smaller or weaker than him, but there's one thing that a lot of younger players do make mistakes with, and that is not going and facing that rim after bodying them. So when you attack, get that body into them. Basically, use your whole back, right like that. Get them back onto their heels. As soon as they get on their heels, and you should be able to notice that without even looking, that's when you want to attack back straight at the basket. You don't want to be backing them down the entire time. You want to make that quick hit, face back up, and then attack. That is what makes a fantastic power forward. I hope that this video has helped you become a better power forward. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.